Viewing area. We have a warning, a severe thunderstorm warning that is now in effect for Marshall County as well as portions of Hardin and also Franklin County. Those are the counties just off to the west of our northwest zone. That is in effect until 6:45. Thunderstorms that are moving along that line that you see near Fort Dodge, just getting close to Ames, just getting close to Des Moines right now, are moving at 85 miles per hour. Normally with a severe thunderstorm warning, you may not think of taking shelter. This is the time and a situation that you do need to take shelter. Also, we're on early because this will give early warning as they enter the TV9 viewing area because you don't have a lot of time as those storms move very rapidly to get to a safe area. So once again, a severe thunderstorm warning now issued for portions of Franklin, Marshall, and Hardin County. It's in effect until 6:45. Northeast movement at 85 miles per hour. Corey, that alone would produce some very powerful winds when storms are moving that fast.
Yeah, and that's the reason why this warning's been issued. It's been issued with the threat of 80-mile-per-hour winds, and we've talked about this earlier in the year in preparation for this severe weather season. A new feature probably set off people's cell phones within that warning box because of the potential for winds that could cause significant damage, and those winds will be entering the western portion of the viewing area here over the next half an hour, it looks like, and then after that, going from there.
And the storms have had a history of producing some very powerful winds. We had wind gusts back in western Iowa from these storms, 79 to 82 miles per hour. I know we have seen some pictures of damage as this line of storms moved across portions of Nebraska. Last check, and we'll be checking as we move forward, about 145,000 power outages in a 4-state area of Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and Missouri as these storms have moved through. So that's what you can expect as these storms push across eastern Iowa. Power outages are certainly a possibility. Tree damage as well as home damage, building damage, and anything, and we talked about this the past couple of days, anything outside that is not secured needed to be secured as these storms move in. Now you look just a little farther west, the red boxes you're seeing, those are all tornado warnings. Now, these are not confirmed tornadoes, these are radar indicated tornadoes. In other words, there's rotation in these storms that can lead to tornadic formation, and that also means you need to take shelter because of that. So, number one, warning comes out for you tonight at all, anytime in the next still probably 3 to 3.5 hours. Make sure that you take shelter, get to your safe place, and that safest place, of course, as we always tell you, is the lowest spot you can get to in any building that you're in. Where do you want to go? Go to the lowest spot. Call it storm safety because we're looking at winds as well as that potential for a tornado. Under something sturdy, might be under your stairwell, might be under a heavy table, might be under a very heavy bench or a heavy desk. Take your bike helmet along if you don't have it with you in your safe place and put it on. That protects your head. You want to cover yourself with blankets, pillows, towels. That will protect you again if there happens to be some flying debris that gets in that area. Number one, avoid windows, doors, and outside walls. A lot easier to avoid windows right now because you can't see this storm coming in. It's dark. It's also scary because you can't see that storm moving in. But because of that, don't even go near the windows and try to take a look. If you don't have a basement, a small interior room, preferably in the center of the home with walls between you and the storm, as many as possible, staying again away from windows, doors, and any outside walls. Those are the safest places you can be when this storm moves through. And again, the entire system very powerful. Now issued within the last, half hour, 40 minutes, an extension of the tornado watch. Waterloo, Charles City, until 8 o'clock, that tornado watch is in effect. As we head toward Dubuque, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Manchester, another tornado watch out, and that's in effect until 11 o'clock. But again, quite honestly, these storms will move through quite rapidly. It will not last until 11 o'clock as you watch these storms push through. Give you a quick indication, a little bit of timing on these storms, and again, we're looking at the possibility of those storms moving in out of the Cedar Rapids area probably around 7:30. Probably looking at those storms in Waterloo about 7, Dubuque probably right around 8 or 8:30 as that line of storms pushes your way.
If we go to Max 2 real quick, just take a look at the extent of the reports of strong winds and wind damage that we have seen so far across the Midwest, including states like Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, as well as parts of Missouri, too. These are just from the thunderstorms. There are numerous other reports for the strong winds that we will see behind these thunderstorms, like meteorologist Jan Reichard was explaining during the 4 and 5 o'clock newscast. Notice, too, there are a couple of red boxes in there as well. That's where a few tornado reports have been found. There's only been 10 reports of a tornado so far today. The number of reports of damaging winds approaching 200 at this hour, and we'll exceed that as we go through the evening. The last couple of reports along this line that have been of some significance near Ralston and Carroll County, 70-mile-per-hour winds, as well as some damage being reported by the fire department there. In Adair County, 80-mile-per-hour winds estimated by an emergency manager, but he's guessing at least 80 miles per hour, producing zero visibility in the rain that was falling from these storms. So we talked earlier, no reason to leave your house this evening, frankly, if you're already there this evening. Best bet just to stay inside, stay safe. If you have an event planned this evening, a lot of events have been canceled. If it hasn't, probably a good idea to cancel it yourself. Don't go to it. It's a much safer bet to stay home this evening, because if you get caught out in this storm, you'll wind up like they did in Adair County there and not be able to find your way out, and then could be subject to damage to your vehicle, could be subject to falling trees or branches. With that, it's just not a safe place to be. The safest place to be is in your home, interior room, lowest floor.
And again, as we mentioned, we go back to Max 1, these storms are moving rapidly. We've had storm movement on some of these storms up to 85 miles per hour. That alone will produce very, very gusty and damaging winds. Now, as the storm passes by, the winds are still going to remain strong. So we get through the severe threat, we are also talking about winds